Good morning to Sam from Nanjing, China. I am on a mission this morning. Eric just got us coffee and pastries for breakfast, and my mission at the moment is to go to the Snacks Kingdom, which I didn't get to go to yesterday, and get a bunch of bulk snacks that I can't find in Beijing to bring back for friends and family back home. So I'm on my way to do that right now. I should only be like 15 minutes probably, and then I'm just gonna hang out in the hotel room until we have to check out, and then we're gonna start our journey back to Beijing. Really quick trip, but I'm glad we came. It's nice to be back in Nanjing. Oh my god, you guys, when I was living here, this intersection was such a shit show, and now it's like totally redone. They've got like crosswalks that actually work. It's amazing. And there's a beautiful Zifeng Tower in the back. That's the 7th tallest building in the world. Probably because of that little pointy thing on top. I'll talk about a sensitive bike ride. This guy's got a bike full of eggs. Nanjing has so many of these like big, happy trees. I love them. Ooh, pretty. This is Snacks Kingdom, which is all over Nanjing and not in Beijing. It's so disappointing because this place is fun. Success. So this, you guys, is the old drum tower of Nanjing. Zifeng Tower's over there. That's Gulo Park in the distance. And then back there is like the campus. So there's this big roundabout type thing. And in the middle is the old drum tower, which I actually never went to. But that's how they used to keep time back in like old day Nanjing. They've got a similar drum tower in Beijing too. But it's bigger. It is really pretty. If you are watching this video because you're coming to Nanjing, I actually have a blog post that I'll link down below of my like favorite unique Nanjing places to go to, because I lived here for 5 months back in the spring and summer, so check that out. Guys, there's a Crocs store here. Also, oh my god, I have my lunch, I have gifts. Eric has like gifts for coworkers. We've got it all. I'm feeling much more comfortable with the Chinese way of life at the moment. We'll see when we get on the train. Just like that, we're back in Beijing now. It's looking real hazy outside today.
Foggy.
Eric's some kind of nationalist now. Standing in line to buy subway tickets. Damn it, I ran out of money in my card. I hate when this happens. Guys, we're at Liu Heshuan. Sue me. I like this restaurant, okay? They got a new menu, so we are trying new things, and this is ox tongue, and it's from New Zealand apparently, and it tastes like freaking steak. It is super good. And we got the cauliflower. Happy. We also got octopus. These are mushrooms. This is new on their menu, and Eric ordered this cheese with sweet potato, but I think we have one more thing coming out which is totally new on their menu. And they have a new singer. I don't know what's happening. Everything's changing. Okay, and we're picking out this last thing we ordered. This is eggplant with, I believe, long beans. Looks yummy, and it's like sizzling away. We're gonna have a chat while I lay in bed because this is the warmest room in the house. It's so cold, you guys. Beijing got so cold. It's like 40 degrees. I know. Some of you are probably like, well, and that's Fahrenheit. Some of you are probably like, 40 degrees, that's nothing. I'm like, I know, but I did not grow up with this. I grew up with like super temperate weather, like mostly between 50 and 60, like most of the year. Ugh, I'm not good with extreme temperatures. What I wanted to chat about are feelings. It was really nice to be back in Nanjing. I was like trying to decide, like if I had to choose a place to settle in China if I had to choose between Beijing and Nanjing, I might choose Nanjing. I'm not really sure. Like as a foreigner, I have a lot more opportunity and I feel like I fit in a lot better in Beijing. People are more used to seeing foreigners around here, so they don't quite stare as much. Nanjing, like I just feel like a freak when I'm in Nanjing. I was walking around my old neighborhood and as I was vlogging, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but people were like, first of all, why is there a Waiwa around on this street? And second of all, why is she talking to a camera? So it was just, I felt like an alien. I was like, well, I'm never going to see these people again, so whatever. I mean, there's a lot of foreign students around the campus area. So I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it's because there's a lot of like migrant workers in Nanjing because it's growing so fast. There were so many new businesses that popped up just in the last few months. It's insane. And they're like putting in new subway stops and there's a lot of like construction work being done. Especially we noticed a bunch of big buildings going up near the Nanjian near Nanjing South Railway Station. So I don't know if maybe the influx of like people who are doing construction, which a lot of it seems to be migrant workers, just from visually what I can see. I don't know. That's not a fact for sure, but it seems like a lot of people who come do construction work like that are migrant workers. So they're from more rural areas. I can understand why they would stare. The ones who come to Beijing also stare, and that's fine. But like if I'm in the same neighborhood for months and people still look at me like I'm a freak, and their kids have seen me a million times and they still go, "What is going on?" and they point at me, like that's happened to me so many times in Nanjing. Never happened to me in Beijing. Little kids will look because they're like curious, but they don't point and say foreigner. That's so offensive to me. I'm sorry. It just is. It drives me crazy. Like if I did that to someone in the US, oh my God, I'd have like the PC police on my ass. Like it's not acceptable in the US to like point at someone and point out that they're not from the US. I mean, I understand. Like 99% of people in China are like Han Chinese, so to see someone who's not Han Chinese is like it's really obvious. So I can understand where this comes about, but for me, I'm just like, I'm still not quite over it. As we were standing on the train platform in Nanjing waiting to board our train, I was just thinking like, wow, I don't know the next time I'm going to be in Nanjing. Like I was having such a good moment because I felt like, like people walk around train stations with like all these gifts that they're bringing home for like friends and family. And I never knew what that was. I was like, are they selling wholesale stuff like when they get back to their hometown? No, those are gifts. Like, and I finally, so like little things like that I'm starting to understand. And like if you don't like the train food, which I really don't like the food on the train, like we knew exactly where the shops were to go get our lunch, and like I knew what things were. I knew what the Kung Pao chicken was. Like just little things where it's like I feel a lot more comfortable and confident being in China than I used to be, and it's been so eye-opening. Basically, being back in Nanjing reminded me of how I first felt when I got to China, which was, I'm never gonna like it here, I'm never gonna fit in, I'm never gonna feel comfortable, I'm just gonna be counting down the days till I go home. Which is sad. That's a sad thought. I mean, that's kind of how most change feels, honestly. It's like, like your first instinct is like, I want to go home, I want to go back to the comfort, I don't want to be here, like this isn't for me, I'm not made out for this. The fact that I stuck it out, and I remember points during this time, mainly in Nanjing, where I was like, I can't do this, I'm going home, like I'm so done with this. And I stuck it out. And I'm so glad I did, because it really made me realize that I can live anywhere, pretty much any circumstance, and I'm going to be fine. Like, I'm going to get used to it after a while. I felt so lost in Nanjing. Like, not physically, just like spiritually, I guess. Like, going back to Nanjing made me realize how far I've come in such a short amount of time. I walked around and I felt like confident, and I felt like I knew what was happening. I felt very confident and content walking around Nanjing by myself. It was such a cool way to feel. And it's cool because I got here in mid-February, and I remember by March, April, I was still kind of feeling a little, I'm like, when am I going to get used to this? I feel like it's never going to happen. June, July, that was when we did a lot of travel, and I went to Hong Kong a couple times, went to Thailand, Cambodia, and then come August, we moved to Beijing. I think that move, that inner China move, changed a lot of things in me. Like, it made me realize, like, I can live anywhere. I hope that makes sense to you guys. If you think about it, it hasn't really been that long that I've been in China, and I still don't speak Chinese, but something changed in me, like emotionally and mentally and spiritually mutually where I'm like, I feel comfortable in China now. If you guys are in a new situation, I mean, any new change, it doesn't even have to be internationally. Like, if you have any change, like, if you move to a new home or a new city and it's only like a few hours away, but it's still so different. If you're in a new group of people, if you're in a new job, like, I know when you first start something, it's so hard and your first instinct is like run away and go home. But if you stick it out, it will get better. It's the way it is. Patience is so important and something I'm lacking. I'm so bad with patience. I'm like not a patient person at all. I try to remind myself like patience, it's about living day by day. And sometimes it doesn't happen as quickly as 9 months. Sometimes it takes several years. I remember even when I moved to San Francisco, we didn't make close friends for like, I think like 2 years. Like close, really, really close friends. Like I could tell them all my secrets and I know they wouldn't judge me kind of friends. I don't know. Like it took a couple years, you know? So things will come in time. And it's really cool now looking back at all these cities I've lived in, and I'm like, Anacortes, Washington, Salem, Oregon, San Francisco, California, Oxnard, California. I've technically lived in Anaheim, but I was like 0 to 3 years old, so that doesn't really count. And even like out in North Carolina area where like Eric's parents live, Galway, Ireland, Nanjing, China, and Beijing, China. All those places, like, I feel pretty comfy. Like, I feel like I could set up a home there, and I, like, kind of know what things are about. And it's so cool to feel like I have so many, like, homes around the world. It makes the world feel small and cozier. I'm not saying I'm, like, lacking fear or discomfort altogether. That's not what I mean at all. But, I don't know. Something's changed for the better. Now let's get into the more immediate feelings. Now that I've gone back to Nanjing, back to like my China roots, and I like had these cool feelings of like, wow, so much has changed, I've like come so far. Now I'm like, I'm leaving soon. Guys, I'm leaving in like just over a week. It's getting to days now. Like I can count the number of days left on my hands. It's absolutely crazy to me. I don't know how to feel. I'm almost dreading it, but I'm excited at the same time. I'm like nervous, excited, ready, not ready. I don't know. I mean, it's happening. So it's what's happening, and I'm going to accept it, and I'm going to try to enjoy things day by day. I want to enjoy the days I have left here in Beijing. I want to enjoy my day of traveling, because I actually kind of like being on an airplane sometimes. It's nice to break up the mundane, like, on the ground life and go up in there. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm not really afraid of flying, so that's one part of travel where I'm like, once I'm on the plane, I'm like, that's totally fine. The things that stress me out are like getting to and from each place, but once I'm in Seattle, I've never lived in Seattle, but I'm like, I can figure my stuff out. It's whatever. It'll be so easy. I'm not really stressed out about that whole thing at all. Oh my god, it's so cold! Okay, what I really wanted to talk to you guys about was the feeling I had when we were standing on the Nanjing train platform, waiting for our train to pull up that was going to take us to Beijing, and I had this feeling like, this is the last train I'm going to take in China for a while. When will I be in China next? And I told Eric, I was literally like, I know I'm going to be away from you for like a month and a half, but I think I'm going to miss China more, because there's a date that I know that like Eric and I will be back together. There's no date set for when I'll be back in China. So I was like, I'm gonna miss China. And I don't think Eric noticed. I was like, didn't want to be a huge baby on the platform, but I started tearing up because I don't think I love China. I don't know. I never thought I would love China. It's such a cool, big, diverse, confusing, weird place. And there's so many things I love about China, and I want to come back so bad. I'm not saying I want to like live here. Like, I'm not ready to come back and like live here again anytime soon, but I want to come be a tourist here. I want to like learn enough Chinese next time to where I could even travel solo in China if I wanted to, because I don't care what anyone says, China is a safe place to be. Honestly, China is one of the better places to be, especially for like solo travelers. A white lady with a backpack is a little weird looking in China, but like it's still safe. I really do think you're pretty safe here. So I definitely want to come back. So happy that I feel like I have a home in China. China's a place that honestly never was on my bucket list. I never said I wanted to go to China, and then I ended up here and I was like, I'm gonna hate this. This is awful. And now I'm like, it's just, I can't believe the feeling I'm leaving with. I know I'm gonna be back. Okay, so Eric, basically, here's how it's gonna work. When we go back to San Francisco, Eric has one more semester of school. After that, Eric speaks Chinese. He wants to utilize his Chinese for whatever company he works for. That means he's very likely going to be having business trips to China. We want to be US based, but with business trips to China. That means that sometimes he'll go without me and sometimes I'll go with him. And I love to travel, so honestly, like, he encourages me to solo travel. Once we have a more, like, stable financial situation, yeah, yeah, I might do some solo travel around the world by myself, and who knows, maybe I'll like take one of my friends from college and like we'll go to China. I don't know, it'd be really cool to show someone around China. I am sad to leave China, and I don't know when I'll be back, and that's a little sad, but I don't know how to phrase this, but I'm happy that I'm sad about leaving China. I'm happy that I'll miss it. I'm happy that I love it. I'm happy that there's places I haven't explored yet that I know I will someday have the chance to explore. And I'm happy that I have this cool community to share it with. Like, I'm just really happy. I just want to be like really grateful and remember to stay fearless throughout this time. I hope this all made sense to you too. I'll talk more about it in my second like coming home video. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye!